You may have read or be familiar with David R. Hawking's Transcending the Levels of Consciousness, or simply his book, Letting Go. In this book he talks about how we go through a scale of consciousness, starting from the lower emotions like shame, guilt, going up to anger, which has more energy. And as you transcend, you have more energy. Anger then goes to courageousness, anger goes to pride, then to courageousness, and then up and up and up the scale to acceptance, love, and so forth. When we watch videos or listen to the advice of other people or even the experiences, something we have to be really mindful of is that they are at a certain level or certain path in their journey of spirituality, and where they are is different to where you are. So the trap people fall into is to think that the advice can be taken and completely replicated, completely embodied. We need to be mindful of the fact that our journeys are unique. And to be mindful there is to remember that every path is unique and that life presents you with many different opportunities. And acknowledging that, you can then realize that there's always going to be a gap between you and the advice of the person you're listening to. There's always going to be a gap. There's always going to be some separation because they're not you. They've gone through their own individual path. Some things might be applicable, some things might not be applicable. But the key is to realize there's no generic spirituality program. There's spiritual principles, there's spiritual tools, there's spiritual techniques that you can use, and it can be very helpful to practice as the practitioner taught you for some period of time. But at the same time, I personally think that you as an individual, as you advance, as you gain more experience, can learn to follow your intuition and to mold the teachings of others into your own program rather than following the spirituality program. Now, maybe you are very new to meditation, perfectly fine. Stick with the program, stick with some teachings. But as you advance, start to recognize that. Start to recognize the individuality. And when somebody teaches you something, see how you can embody some of the teachings as an individual based on your own wiring. And so we have in the past this monastic sort of lifestyle of everyone being the same, monks going to the temple, the monastery, shaven head, looking the same, wearing the same things. And I can't speak for that because I haven't done that myself. But what I can speak for is that uniqueness has helped me progress more than copying or imitating. And that's something interesting to think about. I mean, we live in this reality that's so unbounded. There's so many different opportunities and unique expressions, and people are so different. Like, everybody's upbringing is so drastically different. So don't expect that your journey of spirituality is any different to that, because life is spirituality. You know, your life is, in a sense, a spiritual path. And so the experiences you get are particularly pointed in certain directions, and you get certain experiences and you go through certain things based on karma, right? Based on potentially past lives or karmic, whatever, luck, whatever you want to call it. But we all have a path that is very different. And so just acknowledge that, realize, okay, I'm going down a unique path. I have a set of unique experiences. These things I can learn from other teachers. I can apply them for the betterment of myself, but not to get lost in that. That's what I personally think. Now, you should ask yourself, what do you think? What do you think about this idea? I'm not saying I'm right. I'm just sharing my story, and everybody's sharing their stories, even these gurus that may be speaking from a place of authority were in the position you were before, and they may be communicating as an authority. They may know something really well, but they are not an authority on your life, because you are the authority in your life. You are the one that gets to choose whatever that choice is. But your consciousness here in that physical body, your physical body is different from the body of that physical body of somebody else, that guru. So keep that in mind. Remember that. So just to summarize, every path is unique. There is no generic spirituality program, in my opinion. I think if there was, we would have more enlightened masters by now, but it's very difficult to achieve liberation, isn't it? It seems like many people that have achieved liberation were rebels, were people like the Buddha or people after him that really challenged the status quo, really went off on their own path and really thought things through and decided to construct the program that was right for them. So maybe that's what we have to do. I don't have all answers. I'm in this just like you. But maybe we have to figure it out through our own uniqueness, through our own path, through the opportunities karma gives us, and see what happens. Oh, one final thing. I had a great quote from a Christian mystic. She said, God doesn't waste a single breath. God doesn't waste a single breath. Which I think means everything we have in our life is teaching us something, is pointing us and moving us in some direction. Whether it's this life or next lives, who knows? Just something to think about.